Hope you're having an amazing day. I took a little break from the news analysis. I did a lot of stretching, meditating, and exercising. In the meanwhile, it's been excellent, but I'm back to the grind, and I want to weigh in on the biggest story right now about Russia and U.S. collusion that a lot of mainstream media doesn't want to talk about. So I'm going to wait about 5 more seconds for people to get into the live stream. As always, if you would like, you can follow me on Instagram at DreamRare. You can follow me on Twitter at Legendary Energy. On Facebook right here, and then legendary.vision. That is my website. So give me about 5 more seconds for people to come in, and we're going to talk about Uranium One, which is the biggest Russian scandal in modern U.S. history, which is oddly missing from a lot of the biggest news corporations in America. Strange. Hello. Kim said, didn't shower today, huh? Very rude, very rude. No, I did. But, you know, I'm just wearing a hat and I got cool hair. But anyway, so you've heard about the Russia scandal all over the news. And people have been saying Trump's colluding with Russia. This and that is happening. And Russia's working with our government. Russia's working with Trump. But what just started to come up in the news cycles now for the first time in 3 or 4 years, because a couple years ago, the New York Times did a big story. It said, cash flows to Clinton Foundation amid Russia deal. So what happened was when Barack Obama was president, when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, and when Robert Mueller, who is now the head of the Russia probe, was the FBI director, were in power, in office, in positions, that a deal went through to give Russia 20% of the United States uranium. Now, uranium is used to make nuclear bombs. If you're, trying to stop Russia or argue with Russia or accuse everybody else of working with Russia, you wouldn't give, you wouldn't give 20% of the uranium to Russia. But what's even a bigger deal than the fact that they actually gave the uranium to Russia, which has been common knowledge for a while, is the fact that over 100, I believe it's between 120 and 140 million dollars flowed to the Clinton Foundation. So you have to understand, this is known as a quid pro quo. If you look up the definition of that, it means this for that. You do this favor for me, I'll do this favor for you. So the big story, and this was years old. That's why since October, I've been putting out videos and explaining to people, hey, whether you love Trump and you're the biggest fan of Trump, or you hate Trump and you want him out of office, what the mainstream media and past politicians are doing with this Russia scandal and Russia probe and, the Rachel Maddow, Russia witch hunt that's going on where she just makes up fake conspiracies every week, there's something extremely wrong with it, because all of the information, even if you hate Trump and you think he's terrible and you want him out of office, even if that's 100% true, that's how you feel. It's a fact, that everything that they found on Trump, all of the tens of thousands of stories, every mainstream media news headline, all of the investigations, everything that they found in this year doesn't even add up to 1/50th of the Uranium One scandal. So all of this wasted time, all of this wasted energy, all of this wasted investigation, nothing even comes close to the Uranium One scandal. And there's multiple reasons that this happened. When the WikiLeaks came out about Hillary's emails, or it was John Podesta's emails, as Hillary's campaign manager, his emails leaked all over the place, and everybody could see exactly what their campaign was truly plotting, and it was nothing of what they spoke about. They said Russia did it for multiple reasons. When they blamed Russia, they were able to do multiple things. One, they were able to make people not see the WikiLeaks. They say, hey, the WikiLeaks are Russian, don't look at that. So hey, if you can't look at them, it's Russian. CNN said, don't look at it. You're not allowed to, even though that's completely false. Stop people from seeing the emails to see what they're really up to. 2, it also hides their own Russia connections. They even admitted in those emails, they said, hey, let's attack Trump on Russia because that's our weak point. That's a modern tactic of blame the opposition of what you're doing and keep blaming. So they knew that they had the biggest Russian connection. It was admitted in their emails that their biggest weakness was the fact that they did a quid pro quo with the Russian government to get hundreds of millions of dollars to their foundation while transferring over 20% of the United States uranium. This is a massive scandal. So instead of facing it, and it's also admitted in the emails, that they said, oh no, the people are talking about it. And then they showed a Daily Caller article being like, uh-oh, people are catching on. But I knew this because before Daily Caller even did, there's two massive stories about this Uranium One deal that have been out for years. There's a documentary called Clinton Cash where they document everything that everyone's finding out about today and yesterday. They're like, oh my God, it's a breaking story. Hillary and Mueller and Obama colluded with the Russian government. We've known this for years because Peter Schweitzer did a documentary called Clinton Cash where he documented exactly how much money went where and the fact that they were using bribery tactics and money tactics to gain wealth off of transferring the United States uranium to Russia. So this was already known. The New York Times, very famously, all they do is hate Trump. Even they admitted a few years ago that cash flowed to the Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. So why is this relevant again? All of this information is now coming back to light with even stronger evidence. And think about how messed up this is. The people who have the biggest Russian connections, who've done the most to Russia, who have literally sold our country out, sold our uranium, 20% of the United States uranium, they sold to Russia and then somehow used the mainstream media to convince people that it was Trump that had Russia connections. And this is convenient for another reason. During the debates, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton had two very different stances on Russia and Syria and ISIS. Donald Trump said, being that he's outside of the puppeteering and the, oh, you have to do what we say you do, Trump said, hey, I have a brilliant, crazy idea. Hear me out, broskies and women. And whatever, however, I doubt he said it like that, but I'm just paraphrasing and making it slightly more fun for those who don't have a sense of humor, who might freak out. Anyway, Trump said, hey, I have an idea. Instead of fighting Russia, let's, get along with Russia and fight ISIS. ISIS is a huge threat in Syria. ISIS is a threat to the Western world. ISIS is the main enemy. Why are we fighting Russia? Why are we trying to beef with Russia? Let's work together with Russia and let's destroy ISIS. This is what Donald Trump said during the election. Hillary Clinton said, oh no, if I'm president, I'm going to make a no-fly zone in Syria and I'm going to shoot down Russian aircrafts if they pass my no-fly zone. So already during the election, if anybody's somewhat honest, even if they don't like Donald Trump, you know that Hillary was already gunning for Russia. Interesting, because she made hundreds of millions of dollars apparently off of Russia to her foundation for selling the United States uranium using her Secretary of State position under the Obama administration with Mueller as FBI director, the ex-FBI director who was possibly involved in the Uranium One Russia deal, is now investigating Trump for Russian ties when he himself possibly and probably has more ties than Trump does. How bananas is that? How backwards is that? That's why you can find me since October of 2016 telling you that this Russia nonsense was BS. So when it all implodes, which it's doing right now, and it's going to continue to do because it's been a non-story for the entire time. And people on MSNBC like Rachel Maddow have been blasting out Russia conspiracies this entire time, lying to our audience just for ratings, saying, come back next week, we're going to find the Russia. This Uranium One deal I just mentioned about, 0 minutes on NBC, 0 minutes on ABC, 0 minutes on CBS. Are they news networks who cover the news, or are they secret, cover-up agencies that just lie and misinform and turn everybody against each other? It's really hard to tell because this is the biggest Russia story from networks who have put thousands of their network hours into talking about Russia. I'm going to read now a paragraph and a headline from The Hill. that came out this week. And this, to me, is the biggest story in America considering how much energy they put into this Russia probe. Here's the headline. It says, FBI uncovered Russian bribery plot before Obama administration approved controversial nuclear deal with Moscow. I'm going to reread it again. It's basically saying the FBI knew that there was a bribery plot, but still did nothing and let them sell the uranium. So the headline is, FBI uncovered Russian bribery plot before Obama administration approved controversial nuclear deal with Moscow. And I'm going to read a paragraph from this now. Before the Obama administration approved a controversial deal in 2010 giving Moscow control of a large swath of American uranium, the FBI had gathered substantial evidence that Russian nuclear industry officials were engaged in bribery, kickbacks, extortion, and money laundering designed to grow Vladimir Putin's atomic energy business inside the United States, according to government documents and interviews. This is the bombshell of bombshells of bombshells of bombshells. This article is claiming, not me, I'm not a journalist, I'm not an investigative journalist, I'm just reading the news. This article is claiming that the FBI knew that Russia was involved in bribery, kickbacks, extortion, and money laundering and still let the Uranium One Deal go through. And when the United States sold the uranium to Russia, the Clinton Foundation got $140 million to their foundation in a quid pro quo deal. So we do this for you. We put money in your foundation. Bill Clinton went to Moscow and did a $500,000 speech where he spoke for like 30 minutes. Why do you think they're paying him $500,000? Because it's Bill Clinton and he has something to say? Or because it's Bill Clinton and his family just sold the United States uranium to Russia? And keep in mind, if the FBI did what this article said it did, if they knew about the bribery and the extortions and the kickbacks, the director of the FBI at the time was Robert Mueller, who's heading the investigation of the Russia probe against Donald Trump. It's Robert Mueller. This is how corrupt the United States government has been. It's so corrupt that the biggest Russia corruption collusion in modern history is the Uranium One Deal, where Barack Obama's administration, Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, Bill Clinton as the husband of the Secretary of State, and the FBI Director Robert Mueller, who even Snopes now, Snopes, who is a famous, oh no, we didn't do that, they twist everything and be like, hey, we're the fact checkers. Even Snopes is admitting that Director Robert Mueller delivered uranium to Russia himself. They're even admitting that. They're like, it's a mixture. It's not true. It's not false. It's a mixture. That's what it says on there. So they can't even lie about it and say it's false. And I've caught them lying, saying things that are false that are actually true. And I've proven that with facts and evidence. But even they're not covering it up. They're like, yeah, it happened. He kind of delivered it. This is why when the people are dumbfounded and question me, it's not very many people anymore, because most people are coming around and being like, you know what, even if I hate Donald Trump, you're right. This is why President Trump won. This is how corrupt the United States government has been. It's not been a field of rainbows and butterflies and then big bad Donald Trump comes in, oh yeah, I'm going to ruin the world, I'm going to destroy everything. That's the picture that they paint because they've been lying to people for the last 10 years, and now they're getting all caught up in their lies. So they're like, oh, let's blame it all on Donald Trump. No. The reason he won is because that's how low the bar was. That's how bad they were. They successfully colluded with the Russian government to get money themselves, to enrich their own foundation. This is now mainstream news. Yet they somehow are allowed to put a council together which is filled with themselves, which is filled with the director who was possibly involved in the scandal, and now he's the one searching for Trump. Oh, did you collude with Russia? Where's the Russia collusion? Where's the Russia collusion? To find the Russia collusion, the only thing you have to do is look in the mirror. If Robert Mueller and all of these politicians who are accusing Donald Trump of working with Russia, Donald Trump is many things, but he didn't work with Russia. Just look in the mirror, because they have the biggest connections to Russia, and this should be the biggest story in the entire world right now. Today, breaking news, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, blah, blah, blah. They're all saying, oh, breaking news, Mueller's Russia probe is investigating, is investigating the Uranium One Deal. How is somebody involved in the Uranium One Deal going to properly investigate the Uranium One Deal? Because the head of the Russia probe was the director of the FBI during the actual deal. This is how backwards and corrupt our system has been. Has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Donald J. Trump is the shiny object to just use people's emotions to, hey, look at Donald Trump and all the crazy stuff he says. Meanwhile, they're getting away scot-free with some of the most bananas, backwards, twisted plot. And this is how sick, apparently, some people are. You would think, if you had the biggest connections to Russia, you would think, if you were involved in the biggest Uranium One, Russia, United States, $100 million backwards bribery, extortion, and money laundering deal, you would think that you wouldn't want to talk about Russia. Like, I don't want to mention Russia, because if we bring up Russia, I'm screwed. But that's not how these people think. They think, oh, since we have the biggest connections to Russia, since we're involved in the biggest scandal in U.S.-Russia relations history, let's blame it all on Donald Trump, and let's get all the people to blame Donald Trump. Let's get Rachel Maddow to do a fake thing every week, and let's get CNN to talk about it. I have better things to do, but if I wanted to, I could make a compilation of all of the Washington Post articles, all of the CNN and MSNBC fake news stories where they read, oh, this has been debunked years ago. Uranium One doesn't exist. Uranium One's not real. It's a total fake scandal that never happened, and Donald Trump's lying, and he's saying that they wiretapped him. Why are they saying that? They've been lying about this for an entire year and misdirecting. And I say this with much love. Even if you don't like Donald Trump, believing fake news is not going to help you. CNN did a recent thing on Twitter. They said, this is an apple. It's not a banana. Even if someone says it's a banana, it's a banana, it's a banana, don't believe them. Facts matter. It's like, what are you talking about? You're the ones who said, Trump's baseless claim of wiretaps. What a weirdo. What a wacko. CNN said it 1,000 times. Turned out, he was 100% right. They said, well, 17 intelligence agencies said that Russia did this. 17 intelligence agencies. But how could you go against 17 intelligence agencies? Turns out 5 months later, that was never true. It was 4, not 17. That's minus 13. That's math. That's facts. That's apples. That's bananas. The Uranium One Russia deal. Why is it receiving very little coverage? They've spent thousands of hours prying for connections to Russia. They've spent more time, and this is not even a joke. I wish this was a joke. Like, I wish this was a comedy network where I did what Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert do, just make fun of things and, sprinkle a little truth. But they've spent more time talking about Pokemon Go, saying that Pokemon Go influenced the election, and Pokemon Go is the reason that United States is divided, and Pokemon Go is how Russia infiltrated the United States. Meanwhile, their own crony politicians and their own crony Russia probe did a quid pro deal. It's a little tongue twister. Selling 20% of the United States uranium to Russia and enriching themselves to the tune of $130 million. This is how bizarre and dishonest these people are. But I don't even care. I'm going to let the journalists do the journalism. I'm going to let the politicians do the politicking. I'm going to let everyone do their thing. I'm going to let Hollywood do the Hollywood thing. I'm going to let the NFL do the NFL. Because everything's going to happen as it should. And you see a lot of these industries collapsing now because when you build your whole foundation on a house of cards or a house of lie, it's going to keep falling down and collapsing. The only thing that they have to their advantage is the fact that so many people hate Donald Trump so much that they're willing to believe anything that goes against Donald Trump. And that's the straight truth. You'll have your Rachel Maddows who lie to you. You'll have your Keith Olbermanns who lie to you. You'll have your Sarah Silvermans and your pompous Chelsea Handlers who just lie to you and hate and act like a good person. You'll have your, all of these terrible people who will lie to you and make you feel good if you hate Donald Trump and be like, yeah, I'm a part of something. I'm a part of the resistance movements. I'm a George Soros Foundation hero. But the truth of the matter is, these people have been lying to you all year and exploiting your emotions to protect some of the biggest and most corrupt people in the United States history. So, once again, I will make the pitch. Even if you hate Donald Trump with all of your heart, might, and soul, they're using your hate to manipulate you to hide scandals like this one, because there's no way that any human being, even the lowest level person who doesn't understand anything and isn't the brightest bulb, and not to compare, I think everybody's intelligent in their own ways. That's why I don't like to call people names or anything, but any person with even a speck of common sense would realize, what's a bigger deal? Pokemon Go running the same stories that Washington Post and Huffington Post runs, or $140 million and 20% of the United States uranium? It's such a bananas backwards story. It's hard to keep my cool while telling it, because it's so moronic that people don't understand that they're being lied to. Even if you hate Donald Trump, even if you think he's the worst person in the world, it doesn't mean you run around just like believing anything. Like, I hate him so much, I'm just gonna follow all the bad things he's doing. It's like, I've been to comedy shows where they're like admitting, they're like, making jokes and stuff, and they're like, hey, it's funny, like with Trump, it's like, I just watch the news every day and hope he gets impeached. And like with Obama, I wasn't even paying attention. And everyone's in the comedy club like, like it was a joke. And I was like, you just basically admitted you're a moron. No offense, but you admitted that you didn't pay attention for 8 years, and now all of a sudden you're just following the fake stories, just trying to get this guy impeached. Don't let your hate and emotions block your common sense, because that's the only way. That's the only reason they've been able to get away with it so long, is because this story is so basic and so corrupt. But so many people live in this virtual reality of like, I hate Trump and everything else outside it doesn't matter. I don't even care about politics that much. I think it's all nonsense and it's all corrupt. And there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and it's easy to misdirect people. But for real, Russia Uranium One, look into it. Look at all the stories. They're now investigating it in the Russia probe. The only problem is they run the Russia probe. The head of the Russia probe was possibly or probably involved in the Uranium One scandal. So how are they going to investigate something that they're a part of? It's the most bananas backwards thing. God bless America. God bless the world. I think it's imploding. So it's interesting to see, after a year of lies and misdirection, that the entire story is collapsing like everyone knew it would, because this information that they're talking about now and that they're bringing to the Russia investigation now are something that everybody else has known for years and years and years. But the only way they can keep it away from people is if they divide us by race, religion, and gender. Oh my God, the Republicans are bad, conservatives are bad, everybody's a neo-Nazi. If you don't agree with me, you must be a white supremacist. Even if you're black white supremacist, you're a Spanish white supremacist, you're a Puerto Rican supremacist. Everybody who doesn't believe CNN, you're a bad person. That's the only way that they get away with it. If you just hone in, and people are people again, and Americans are Americans again. Race, religion, and gender. Stop playing along with the identity politics. Stop believing that everybody on the opposite end of the political spectrum is a bad person. Oh my God, all liberals are communists. No, it's not true. Most liberals are kind-hearted people who either have woken up to the reality of what is the truth, or that continue to be misled by phonies like Rachel Maddow. Conservatives are good people. They want freedom of speech, the freedom of guns, and other things. They're not all neo-Nazis. Once we break the divide, break the echo chamber, we realize, hey, we're all the same, and we're being completely scammed by phonies. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you. I'm going to post my link below if you'd like to donate to my news analysis. I have a podcast on the way. I have a store now, dreamrare.com, if you want to buy some rare shirts. If you don't, that's fine too, but you would look good in it. I don't even know exactly what you specifically look like, but I feel like you would look good in one of the shirts. Just a thought. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, link will be below. I'll do more stuff this week. Let me know what you want me to talk about, and that's about it. Have a good day.